Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to make those super cute iron-on rhinestone templates using your Cricut. There's plenty of programs that you can buy to make these templates, but they're pretty expensive. So stay tuned so I can show you guys a free way to get the same thing. To get started, you want to pull up Cricut Design Space and we're going to start a new project. Once you do that, you're going to go over to Shapes and I'm going to select a square. To make these templates, we cut them out using Rhinestone Flock. The size of my flock is 9 inches by 12 inches, so I'm going to resize this square to 9 inches by 12 so I can make sure my template fits within those dimensions. I'm going to change the color to blue because that's the color of the flock. Now it's time to pick your design. There's many different ways you can go about this. You can go to text, you can type out a name or a word, and you can change the font like that. Or you can go over to images and you can type in like rhinestone template, and they have a lot of rhinestone templates that are already on there. You just have to make sure to resize them to make sure that your stones will fit into the little holes that they have. So example is like this rose. This rose is really pretty. I would just have to make sure that the holes are the same size that I need for my rhinestones. The method that I'm going to use is going to images and I'm going to type in Virgo because I wanted a Virgo design, and I found this design that I really like. I went ahead and I cleaned it up because it had too many images on there for me, so I took off the little Virgo symbol and some of the little filigree around it, and I'm going to resize it to make sure it fits within those dimensions that I need it to fit. Once your design is resized, you're going to go over to Shapes and we're going to click Circle. Once you have a circle, you're going to resize it to whatever dimension that you need for your rhinestones. I'm using SS10 Rhinestones, so I'm going to resize mine to this size right here. I'm also going to add different sizes for different size stones, so if you have any of these rhinestones, this is the size circle that you need in order to make sure that your template is going to match your stones. Once your circles are the correct size, you're going to duplicate some of them and move them over to your design. I duplicate about 4 of them, but it really doesn't matter how many you do. Once you've done that, your next step is literally just to take those circles that you made and you're going to duplicate them and trace around your image until it's filled with circles. You can choose to fill your design all the way in, or you can just do an outline around the edge of it if you want to. It's completely up to you. Also, make sure that there's space in between your circles. You don't want them to touch. After you've added all of your circles, it should look something similar to this. As you can see, the little stars I had at the top, I moved them up higher so they wouldn't be too close to the word. I also hid my background image so I can get a good look of what it would look like on the template. If you're happy with how it looks, you can go ahead and hide that background image because we don't need that anymore. Next, you're going to highlight your entire image and you're going to weld them together. I want to unite them just in case I need to tweak it later. I can ununite it. That way I wouldn't have to start all the way over if there was an accident. Alright, and then once you're done, you're going to select Make and we're going to put it on a mat. Once it's on a mat, you want to make sure that everything fits, it looks good, so I'm going to go ahead and continue. Now we're going to go over to our cut settings. So there is no Rhinestone Flock setting, so we're going to add our own. To do this, you want to go to Browse All Materials, and then you're going to scroll down and select where it says Material Settings. These are all the materials that are built into your Cricut. We need to add a new one. So click Add New Material, and you're going to give it a name. I'm going to call this one either Rhinestone Flock or Flock. You can call it whatever you want to. So the first thing we're going to adjust is the cut pressure. So we're going to take the cut pressure up to 350. The flock is pretty thick, so for multi-cut settings, we're going to select 2 times. That way it's going to cut each circle twice instead of once. And then we're going to keep the blade the fine point blade. And then after that, you can select Save. This is the old Rhinestone Flock setting that I made. I'm going to go ahead and delete that one because the 2-time works much better. Alright, so now we're almost there to the cutting. So the thing you want to do is select Browse Materials, and now that you've added the Rhinestone Flock, type in Rhinestone and it should be there. Once you have your setting, you can choose the pressure. You can do default or more. I'm going to do more just so it cuts a little bit deeper, and then we can proceed to cutting. So this is the Rhinestone Flock that I used. I bought it on Amazon. I'm going to link it below just so you guys can use the same one if you want to. However, do your research and you can choose whichever one works best for you. I'm going to put this on a standard grip mat. I tried it with the strong grip mat, but that wasn't really necessary. Standard works perfectly fine. On the back of the flock, it's pretty sticky, so you're going to remove it from the backing and you're going to place it onto your mat sticky side down. You want to make sure your flock is adhered to that mat smooth with no bumps or air bubbles in there, because we're cutting so many small circles that any bump or anything like that will mess up your whole design. Once our flock is on our mat, we're going to load it onto our machine and start cutting. Before unloading your mat, you want to peel away that flock a little bit to see if your design cut all the way through. If it didn't, do not unload your mat. Smooth it back down, press the start button again, and it'll recut everything in the same position. If you unload it or take it off of your mat, there's a chance that it could cut wrong. After that, you want to do the peel test one more time just to verify. I see that it cut all the way through. Now we can unload it from our mat and we can take everything off. Now you can peel the flock from your mat. Hopefully most of the circles stay on the mat, but if they don't, once you peel it off, you can take a scraper and scrape off the remaining circles. Once your template is complete, you want to put it on a flat surface. I like to use this little like table desk thingy that my husband uses for his Legos, but I like to use this because it has a little trough right there. You could stick it onto a table if you want. It's completely up to you. Once that template is adhered, you want to grab your rhinestones. You want to make sure your rhinestones are hot fix rhinestones. The size I'm using is SS10. You want to take your rhinestones and spread them across your template. You want to use one of these brushes in order to scrape your rhinestones into all the circles. I cannot find mine for the life of me, so I ended up using my little Cricut scraper, but this right here is what you want to use. After you're done scraping, this is what your design should look like. If for some reason your rhinestones aren't getting in all the holes, you could take a little wax pen, pick some up, and place them in the holes if needed. Your rhinestone flock should come with transfer tape. It's a clear tape that's sticky on the back. It allows you to pick the rhinestones up and make sure they stay in the same position. So you're going to take your template sticky side down and you're going to place it onto your design very carefully. If you shift it, it could pick up the rhinestones and mess up your design. So place it down flat and then you're going to press your hands down and then use a scraper to make sure every single one of those rhinestones are picked up. Once you're happy with that, you're going to peel away that backing, and once you have it, you should have a completed rhinestone transfer. Yay! If you don't plan on using that transfer right away, then you can take the backing that came with that transfer tape and press it onto the back of your design, and then you can kind of put it away for later. But we're going to go ahead and apply it onto a shirt right now so you guys can see how it works. Because these are hot fix rhinestones, you want to apply them using a heat press or an iron of some sort. I'm using my Cricut Easy Press, and I'm going to set the temperature at 320 degrees for 20 seconds. While that's heating up, I'm going to go ahead and take my shirt, press it flat, and I'm going to iron out some of the wrinkles that are on there. Once your heat press is at the temperature that you want it to be, you can go ahead and take your design and peel it away from that backing. Be careful just to make sure you don't leave any rhinestones behind, and you're going to place it wherever you want it to be on your design. I want it to be in the center of my shirt, so I'm going to place it there. I'm using measuring tape just to make sure that it's centered. Next, I'm going to put this pressing sheet on top of my design, and I'm going to heat press it for 20 seconds at 320 degrees. Once we're done, I'm going to put my heat press to the side, remove that pressing sheet, and wait for it to cool down. Once the transfer is cooled down, I'm going to peel away that backing, and then I have a completed rhinestone transfer. This turned out super cute, and I'm really happy that I found a free way to create these rhinestone transfers. As always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!